All right. What's going on, everybody? It's Jack here. It's just me today. Looks like our audio is working. All right. Just making sure everything's going well here before I get started. All logistics are working out. Let's see. All right. I think we're good. Sounding good. Please leave a comment if something's wrong and you can't hear me or anything. That'd be great. Rolling on Instagram, rolling on X, rolling on YouTube. All right. Jack here. Son of Jeff Lowe. Family friend of Jay Ballard. Here on Cavalier Connection. I appreciate them for letting me use their platform once again, because I want to vent a little bit. I want to get some stuff off my chest, talking about the game we just witnessed. Be sure to leave any comments you have down below or in the chat box. I'll answer any of them. I'll answer anything. If you have any questions about the game, about this coaching search situation, because quite frankly, it's a headache. It is a headache, and I got a lot to get to, but appreciate all of you for tuning in, dialing it up. Like I said, please leave a comment in the chat box. I'll answer it. It was rough. 66-60. 66-60 is your final score. Georgia Tech wins it. UVA showed heart. They showed grit at the end. They almost made a comeback. Isaac McNeely had a wild fadeaway 3 to cut it to 2 points. They just couldn't get it done. And you can't blame that part of the game. You can't say, oh, if we make a shot at the end or if we make a stop at the end. You're right, but UVA didn't deserve to even be in that game at the end. No reason whatsoever. Georgia Tech was... they started giving the game away. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest with you. This one hurt. This game hurt badly. This game hurt really badly. We have Jacob chiming in on the Instagram. Appreciate you chiming in, listening, Jacob. I hope you're having fun watching your Tar Heels play right now. Where do you think Virginia program goes after this loss? Again, it's a simple question, but nobody really knows the answer to it. Virginia's done a great job at being very quiet about the situation. They really haven't disclosed anything. The expectation is Sanchez will be gone. Ron Sanchez will be gone. That's the expectation. People think Sanchez will be gone. We'll find a new coach. There's been a lot of names floating around, and some of it's true, some of it's not true. But at the end of the day, you never know. Now, I don't think Sanchez will be back, and quite frankly, I was on Sanchez. I liked Sanchez just a few weeks ago, but I don't think he's the right guy for the job anymore. But you're going to go to a new coach. You're going to go to a whole new coaching staff, probably going to be a younger person. And you're probably going to reset the whole program. It's probably going to be a whole full program reset. Appreciate you chiming in, Tyler. I see you. It's going to be a full reset. You're going to get a new coach in there. And unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of people leave. And that's just the way it goes with coaching changes. Guys like Isaac McNeely, Andrew Rohde, Anthony Robinson, which, by the way, don't get me started. I'm going to get to Anthony Robinson here in a few minutes. Unfortunately, I mean, chances are, they might say, I don't know, but chances are, when their coach leaves, their style of play leaves, they're going to leave too. They're going to go somewhere else. NIL is going to be calling some of those guys' names. Isaac McNeely was phenomenal, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal. His three-point shooting was unbelievable. He had 27 points, 7 for 11 from the three-point line. You can't blame him. NIL money's going to float that guy's way, by the way. Don't be surprised if just in 2 weeks he announces he's going somewhere else. Especially with the coaching change. It's going to be a full program reset. It's as simple as that. We've been kind of waiting for it for the last few weeks now. These next few weeks are going to be so interesting. I'm just so ready to hear what the university's going to do. I'm so intrigued. Some people are saying they're really excited they lost because now we get to finally figure out what's going to happen. I see that side of it, but that loss really hurt. I tell you what, man. When you listen to that press conference, that post-game press conference by Ron Sanchez, you can't help but feel bad for the guy. And John Freeman, I give a lot of credit to the radio broadcast, John Freeman, and he gave Sanchez a lot of credit. Like, hey, he was dealt a bad card. He was dealt a bad hand of cards, and it's a tough situation. What he did with this situation was kind of remarkable. And I just he kept saying in his press conference, and I agree with him, but I don't agree with him. You know, you don't judge this program by wins and losses. You judge this program by the culture. You judge this program by doing things on and off the court. I hear you, Ron. I really do, Coach. I hear you, Coach. You just can't judge off that, though. We are living in 2025, excuse me. You don't judge a college program based off of that anymore. That's done. You have to win basketball games. You want to keep your head coaching job. You have to. And unfortunately, there was too many of those games that Virginia could have won, should have won, and they just couldn't pull out. And some very interesting coaching decisions by Ron as well. You have to win your basketball games. I hear Ron, I really do. And like I said, I want to give John Freeman credit for that post-game show. And Ron, he was asked a couple of nice questions by the reporters there. Shout out to all of them that made the trip down there. A couple of interesting ones, regarding his future, regarding how he assessed himself if he deserved the coaching job. And he said, he was basically interviewing for the job every day of practice, every game. He was showing Carla what he could do. And he says he deserves that job. He thinks he deserves that job. And he did a good job with the guys. He thought he established a good culture, which I'll give him that. The culture of that team did not give up. They had no quit. You could tell those guys love playing with each other. Rhodey and McNeely were getting along so well. Day Ames, which I'll get to him later as well. Kofi, Robinson, Sharma. Everybody seemed to love playing with each other. And Kofi, by the way, in the first half of the season, you could tell immediately he was ready to transfer. He seemed so unhappy, but he seemed towards the end of the season to come along to it as well. The culture he established in that program was outstanding, so credit to Ron for that. But it's just, it takes more than that, man. It takes wins. You've got to win basketball games. And unfortunately, when you can't win basketball games, you're going to lose your job. You're not going to get the job. So Sanchez is probably out. I expect him to be out. I expect him to be out in the next week. And if he is going to be out, or if he is going to be named head coach, which I don't expect him to, but if you're Virginia, you got to announce this soon. You can't wait too long. You got to announce in the next week, in the next 2 weeks. We're making a new head coaching decision. We're getting a new coach, because you can't wait. You have to get to work now. You have to get to work now, because that coach, whoever it is, needs to come in, needs to establish himself, needs to get built around his own coaching staff. He needs to establish what he's going to be doing at Virginia, who the type of guys he's going to bring in. And then, before you know it, March Madness is over, transfer portal. With how big the transfer portal is right now, you gotta get working immediately. So if you're Virginia, you gotta very quickly get yourself to make a decision. And I'm sure they already have the decision made, at least on Ron anyways. They probably don't have a name that's going to replace him yet. I'm sure they've already decided Ron's coming back, Ron's not coming back. And I can tell you right now, he's probably not coming back. Especially the way he handled some of those questions in the press conference. You could kind of tell. Like David Teal from Daily Press, shout out his question. He was kind of asking, had he had a conversation with Carla about trying to present himself as to why he should keep the job. And he kind of dodged a little bit, and he was like, yeah, I feel like I've interviewed for the job every day. So no, he hasn't. And you could just kind of tell with the way he was answering some questions, he kind of thinks he's out. He knows he's out. He knows he's done. So that's that. But a little more on the game. I kind of digress. They played well the first half. The defense was unbelievable. It looked like old school Virginia defense, right? It looked like Tony Bennett was heading that team. It looked pretty good defensively, and offensively, you were okay. I was really hurt by Saunders, man. Elijah Saunders just did not show up. He got so many open looks, so many wide open shots. If he just hits a couple of those, we might be talking about a whole different subject right now. Saunders, man, he's been good all year offensively. In my opinion, one of the best offensive weapons for UVA when it comes to shooting and finishing, and he just had nothing. He had absolutely nothing. When you're talking about Elijah Saunders, he finished, with 8 points. He had 2 field goals, 4 free throws that he made. He had nothing. He struggled immensely. He went 0 for 7 from 3. 0 for 7. If he could just knock a couple of those down, the momentum shift would be insane. So he struggled immensely. I hate to bring this name up, but Day Ames. Bad, dude. 4 points? Are you kidding me? Again, one of our, if not our best offensive weapon, probably our second best offensive weapon, Day Ames. 4 points? That's bad. We went 1 of 9 from the field. 0 for 4 from 3 once again. We just struggled shooting the ball with a couple of people. It stunk. It stunk. And Day Day, like, he played some nice defense, but really only had 1 assist offensively, had 4 points. It's bad. We talked about McNeely, and we'll get to him even more. But McNeely was good in the first half. I don't have his first half numbers, but obviously, just overall 27 points. He single-handedly carried this Virginia team. He single-handedly carried this Virginia team offensively. He was the only reason that Virginia was somewhat relevant, especially at the end of the game, obviously. And then I'm just going to get to this conversation now. Blake Buchanan. We got to talk about him. We got to talk about Blake Buchanan, everybody. We've got to talk about Blake Buchanan. We got to talk about coaching decisions. We got to talk about Anthony Robinson. Where do I start? I just don't understand. There's no point in me that understands the decision making by Coach Ron Sanchez to not play Anthony Robinson 1 minute in this basketball game. Not 1 minute. It makes no sense to me. Robinson was such a spark plug for this team during the regular season. I'm not saying he's the best big on this team. What I am saying is he's a spark plug. You throw him in there. He's a freshman. I get it. But he's proven to be unbelievable at times. You had him in against Duke, the best team in the country, number 1 in the country right now, going up against arguably the player of the year in Cooper Flagg, rejecting his shot. You had him finishing dunk after dunk, alley-oops, almost showed a little inner Ryan Dunn in him. And you just, excuse me, you don't play him 1 minute? Not 1 minute, I'm trying to pull up his numbers here. He was averaging a 3.6 per game, 2.4 rebounds a game. And I mean, Buchanan has better numbers, but what has Buchanan shown you to get so many more minutes over Robinson? Buchanan was so bad today. He was awful. There's nothing you can tell me to convince me Buchanan had good minutes today. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds. That's it. 4. 2 turnovers. Had a block and a steal. Congratulations, you had a block and a steal. A plus minus of -7. I just don't understand. Buchanan, he's supposed to be our big. He is our 5. And you have 4 rebounds? That's it? Defensive rebounding was rough today. It was bad. Finished with 21 defensive rebounds. I wonder what Georgia Tech finished offensively. I gotta check that. Georgia Tech, they finished with, let's see, 11 offensive rebounds. So you're talking about 11 compared to 21 defensive rebounds. That's fine. No, that's not fine. That's terrible. You can't keep giving up these second chance points. You can't. It's been a struggle all season long. We've talked about it all season long right here on Cavalier Connection. We've talked about it. Second chance points killed us. Georgia Tech had 13 second chance points. 11 offensive rebounds will kill you. And they killed us in the paint. 40 points in the paint. 40. Buchanan's defense was so bad. This is what I mean. Robinson provides such a spark plug when you're talking about defensively, offensively. How does Robinson not get in for 1 minute? Just 1 minute. If he got a couple of minutes, sure, whatever. A couple of minutes going into the half. How do you not give him 1 minute, Sanchez? I don't understand. And when he did get minutes earlier this season, he makes one mistake, he's out. Sharma, make one mistake, he's out. Buchanan made mistake, and remained in the game. The turnovers he had, the play where he gave up on the play and let the two-hand slam right over top of him. Made no effort whatsoever to get there. He was bad. And I'm okay with playing Buchanan. That's fine. He's shown some bright spots. But what makes you think he deserves every last minute, basically? How many did he finish with? He finished with 27 minutes. That's out of 40. So he sat for 13. You had Saunders mixing in with the bigs there. Obviously, Kofi. Kofi was solid. I liked Kofi today. Kofi was fine. I'd like to see a little more out of him, but considering, he had 24 minutes. I'll take what I got out of him. That's fine. So you had him, Saunders, Buchanan rotating around that 4 or 5 spot. And then Tane Murray, our favorite player, Tane. I liked Tane Murray at parts during the season, but that was just bad. He got rejected twice. That was terrible by Tane. Got completely rejected twice. He had his 3-pointer early, which is good, but that was it. It wasn't a tame game. It wasn't a tame game. He had nothing. Here's another name. Ishan Sharma. You're telling me Ishan Sharma couldn't get 1 minute? Now, I'm not as big on the Sharma as I am Robinson. Sharma hasn't shown as much, but he's shown some sparks offensively. He could get you a bucket every now and then when you need it. He can make some good passes. Just again, as a spark, when nothing's working for you, when you are on a down spiral and Georgia Tech has a run going against you, you can't get the man just a couple of minutes to try and provide something, try and change something up instead of going with the same rotation over and over and over again. Rotation consisted of 7 people. That was Buchanan, Saunders, Rhodey, Ames, McNeely, Kofi, and Murray. You can't get Sharma or Robinson in just a couple minutes. In my opinion, and this might be unpopular, I think Robinson should have started over Buchanan today. Going into it, I tweeted it this morning at like 7 o'clock this morning. Good morning, Who's fans, you know. Robinson should start today. Robinson has earned that spot. And maybe there were injury concerns. I don't know. Nobody asked it in the press conference. Maybe there was injury concerns. I don't know. I know he was dealing with the foot before the weight game, so he didn't play for that. But my argument is he played the last 3 games. He just played against Syracuse the other day. Had no concerns whatsoever. No concerns. So I really doubt that there's an injury concern there. That's the reason why. I really doubt. You got to play him, coach. You have to play him. That's a huge mistake, in my opinion. And then when this is not the first time this year we've had a down spiral like this offensively. Excuse me. This is not the first time this has happened like this. Sanchez, this goes on to him whether he deserves the job or not. You got to find a way to get buckets, man. You got to draw something up. You got to do something. He called a couple timeouts, but they led to nothing. Timeouts led to nothing. You just got to draw something up. I don't know. It's hard to. This loss hurt, and I know a lot of people just wanted the season to be over. That's fine. I get it. But they just showed no heart up until like a minute and a half to go, 90 seconds to go in the game. They showed nothing. Those last 7 to 8 minutes of the game were so brutal. They just gave up. They gave up. They gave up. The dang guy for Georgia Tech, Duncan Powell, was incredible. He killed us in the paint. Killed us. 21 points, 3 rebounds. I mean, he had a block too. Had a plus minus of 5. He was good. We couldn't stop him for nothing on the defense. He led Georgia the Yellow Jackets in points. Couldn't stop him in those last final minutes. You just got to find an answer. And I know I'm putting a lot on the offense right now, but defensively too, because they looked so good the first half. So good. Like I said, that looked like a classic Coach Bennett pack line defense in the first half. Shot clock was winding down, had a shot clock violation. Lots of long defensive possessions that led to nothing, led to a good offense or defensive rebound. Lots of good. But the second half was just so bad. It was so bad. It was bad, and let's see. Second half, the first half. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the official numbers here. So I'm curious. Give me a second here. I'm gonna check out the halftime scores and stuff. First half, Virginia gave up. First half. Here we go. 25 points. 25 points. 25 points given up in the first half. Unbelievable defensive performance. Unbelievable. Great job. Good job, Virginia. You stopped Georgia Tech, which, by the way, a little wacky foul call at the end there. I'll just put it this way. There's no way he'd have gotten that shot up within 0.4 seconds. Also, it's all ball if you look at the replay. I'm not pinning the game all on that one call, but that was ridiculous. A ridiculous way to end the half. All ball. I think it was Buchanan was on defense. Completely just stripped the ball. Or it might have been Saunders. I can't remember now. Completely just stripped the ball from him. flailed up in the ground or in the air, and you get the foul call, which it turned momentum a little bit. Georgia Tech tied it up at 25 at the half. Turned the momentum a little bit. That was bogus, but whatever. It was Buchanan because Buchanan had picked up his third, I think, or second. I think he picked up his second. And then you get him and McNeely in foul trouble early in the second half. They both had 3 each. Overall, Virginia was in foul trouble. But back to my point, in the second half, Georgia Tech had 41. Look at the difference, 25 to 41. And I think reason number one would be Duncan Powell, because he dominated, which, by the way, I can't help but say this, one of the ugliest haircuts I've ever seen in the history of basketball. I'm sorry, I just have to point it out. Has the headband and has the Costanza hair in the back. I just have to point it out. Makes you even more annoyed when you have a guy like that scoring on Virginia. Because when you look at him, he turns his head around. He has no hair except for here. He has the Costanza look and the headband, looking terrible. It just annoys you a little more when that's the case. I'm sorry. I just got to point that out. And you couldn't stop him in the paint, man. He had 15 in the second half. Led the Yellow Jackets. It wasn't close. Also, in the first half, couldn't stop Bay, Dongo, however you pronounce his name, but whatever. You played no defense in the second half. You couldn't score in the second half. You just couldn't. You couldn't do anything. It was bad. Virginia, you got to find an answer in those situations. Again, it all comes back. I don't know why you don't play Robinson at all. Right, we have an audio issues here. I think we are. Give me just a moment. There we go. All right, much better. Sorry about that. Yeah, if you got a chat, comment, leave it in the chat box. I'll stay on here for a few more minutes. It hurt. I mean, now the question is, what is going to happen over the next few weeks? It's going to be so interesting to see what. But props, like I said, props to McNeely, props to Rhodey. I mean, they fought hard. He's hit a lot of crazy ones. They had like an 8-0 run with like a minute to go in the game, and they cut it to 2. Props, they kept fighting. Then it just didn't work out in the end. I got a little excited. I can't lie with you. I think it was 62-60, and then Georgia Tech iced it. But man, it props to McNeely. He was unbelievable. It's going to be so interesting to see how this transfer portal affects this team because, like I said, expecting that Coach. Typically, when you get a new coach in there, I don't know why the audio is going out again. Let's see. There we go. Typically, when you get a new coach in there, they're going to bring in their own transfers that want to fit their system. They're going to send out. They're going to tell people like, "Hey, you're not going to fit the or we're going to play the system. If you can't handle it, you can go. You can go somewhere else." And then obviously McNeely's good. He's going to get a nice offer somewhere to go, I'm sure. And I know these guys want to stay. Him and Rhodey want to stay. But it's just not the way the sport works anymore. When a coach leaves, you're going to leave too. And like I said with McNeely, he's going to get some nice NIL money somewhere. Another interesting name is Anthony Robinson. We already talked about him with during the game today. But what's going to happen with him? Is he going to leave? Where is he going to go? I love Robinson. I hope he stays. He's only a freshman. He's such a talent, such a raw talent. He's going to be great no matter where he is, no matter what system he's in. But where is he going to stay for the new coaching staff? Because he wasn't as much of a Sanchez guy. He was kind of just there. He was recruited by Bennett. I don't know what he's going to do. This team's young. That's the thing. My biggest argument a few weeks ago when I was arguing for Sanchez and advocating for Sanchez was the fact that this team is so young. You look at the roster. Our 2 seniors were Tane Murray and Bryce Walker. Tay Murray, he can go. That's fine. Bryce Walker, he never got a minute anyways. You're staring down Day Ames, who's going into his junior year. Don't don't get me started on Christian Bliss. We're not going down that road right now. Blake Buchanan going into his junior year. Who knows? He could hit a huge improvement in the offseason, build up some weight. Jacob Kofi's a freshman. He's going to go into his junior year. Elijah Gertrude, everybody forgot about him. He's on the healing process right now. He'll be into his junior year. Actually, it might. I don't know how the red shirt's going to work. He might be able to use a red shirt, an injury red shirt. I don't know how that's going to work. McNeely's going to be a senior. Not going to get started on TJ Power. Anthony Robinson going to be a sophomore. Rhodey will be a senior. Saunders will be a senior. And Sharma will be a sophomore. We're losing two guys, and neither of them will really had that big of an impact at all. Losing two guys. One of the reasons why I advocated for Sanchez was, he's got young talent, and there's some learning curves there. They're gonna make young mistakes. When you get all these guys coming back, it's like, and they've already played with each other for a year. You can kind of see them developing with each other as the season went on through ACC play. You always think that they could be good next year, but together. But but I mean, that's just not the way the cookie crumbles. Unfortunately, it's just not, and it's going to be interesting to see where these young guys go. Robinson, especially going into his sophomore year, is he going to want to stick around? Is he going to go? McNeely and Rhodey going into their senior seasons, are they going to want to close out their career somewhere else at a bigger school? Maybe I could see Rhodey staying. I don't know. Rhodey, I could see him staying. I think he likes Virginia. McNeely does too. Listen, these guys don't want to leave. Like I said, it's just not the way the game works. I could see Rhodey staying. I don't know why. Day, I think Day will leave potentially. Again, this is all expecting a coaching change. Buchanan would leave. I think Buchanan will leave. Actually, I think he's going to go to a smaller school. Everybody always jokes around the Big Sky. I think he'll go to a smaller conference. Not have a role on a bigger team. McNeely, I don't know. I think he's going to leave and go to a big school. Gertrude might stay. I don't know about Gertrude. Gertrude is interesting because he showed a lot of potential last year, and obviously the injury, the scooter accident. I don't know. And then, what was the name I was going to say there? Jacob Kofi. I mean, he's a sophomore, or he's going into his sophomore season. I expect him to leave. He showed as if he was going to leave earlier this season, but I think he'll be out. Saunders going into his senior season, that's going to be interesting if he's going to want to stay or not. That'd be a good get for somebody, I think. That's an underrated name right there. Sharma will probably go. I don't think Sharma's going to stay. I really don't know about some of this stuff. This is all just speculation. But overall, you're looking at a lot of names that are going to leave you if Sanchez goes. Like I said, I expect Sanchez to go, but you don't know who's going to come in here. Is it going to be a Ryan Odom from VCU? My number one candidate is Shaka Smart from Marquette. I just don't think it's going to happen. It just doesn't seem in the cards. I think he's happy with his current situation at Marquette. I don't think he's going to want to do that. And same with Ryan Odom. I had the pleasure to talk with him on the morning drive earlier this year. He seems happy with his situation at VCU too. He might want to leave. I don't know. The thing about VCU that's unique is they don't have a football program. So VCU gets to take the basketball program gets to take basically all that funding. They don't have to share it with the football program, and I think Odom likes that. He likes kind of building up VCU. He's got him in a solid spot right now, but maybe he'll want to leave. I don't know. Seen those two names. I've seen some others. Seen Sanchez. It's a shame for this coaching staff, man. It's the end of an era, but you got to move on. And I'm one of the worst ones about moving on. I don't like moving on. I love this coaching staff. A lot of nostalgia for me. I grew up with this coaching staff. Jay Willie, Zay Wilkins, Kyle Guy in there now. Chase Coleman and Sanchez. They've all been together. At least Sanchez and Jay Willie have been there for so long, and they're going to be gone because once this new coach comes in here, he's going to clear house. Not because they're bad, but because they want to bring in their own coaching staff. It's simple as that. It sucks to see those guys go, but you got to move on. You got to flip the program. You got to reset. It's going to be a program reset. expecting, like I say, I'm going to keep saying expecting. I'm expecting Sanchez to be out. I don't know for sure, but I'm expecting him to be out in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. This next couple of weeks, like I said, my biggest questions: will Sanchez be in? Will Sanchez be out? Who's gonna be the replacement if he is out, or if they remove the interim tag? Who's gonna be the replacement? Who are they gonna build their staff around? What kind of assistant coaches are they gonna bring in? What players are they gonna bring in? What transfers? The transfer portal is gonna be so important, so important. But regardless of the situation, you're gonna have a complete program reset, most likely. Unless Sanchez stays, you're going to have a program reset, completely new style. Embrace the pace won't be a thing anymore. That's going to be much more fast paced, I'm sure. Whoever they bring in, I'm sure, is no longer going to be playing that slow brand of basketball, that slow moving offense and defense. It's going to be much faster paced. It's going to be a whole new style. It's going to be new coach. It's going to be really interesting. My guy Corey on the warpath, Tony Bennett in 2025. Wouldn't that be something? That would. So my question is to UVA fans. You can comment below if you have a response. Would you be happy or upset if Tony Bennett returned to coach UVA in 2025? Listen, man, I love Bennett. He's obviously he not enough words can describe. I love Bennett. There's no other person. Like, I was really upset, man, when he stopped coaching. But at this point, it's too late. You had the ceremony. Sanchez kind of did his thing. Now we're having a whole national-wide coaching search. I think it's over now. Bennett's not done coaching though. He'll go coach at a smaller school, I'm sure, where he doesn't have to deal with the NIL and stuff. I'm sure he'll be on the move somewhere, just not at UVA. It's a little too late now. He went through all that stuff. He's not going to come back. As much as I'd love him to, I don't even know if I don't know. I love Bennett, but I think we got to just completely reset now. Wouldn't that be something, Corey? Imagine the riots in the streets of Charlottesville or anywhere if Bennett. It was announced Bennett was coming back. I don't know if people would be happy, sad, upset, angry. That would be something else. That would be something else. So I think that's going to about do it. I appreciate all of you for dialing it up here on the X at Talk UVA Sports, on YouTube at Cavalier Connection Podcast, also on my personal Instagram, WahooJack06. Corey says, I heard he stepped down because of personal reasons. Not sure how true that is. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much speculation. Nobody truly knows the whole story. From what I've heard from the people I talk to and stuff, it was because of the transfer portal. It was because he doesn't like today's college basketball, which is valid. I mean, a lot of coaches are like that. It's just that timing is weird, you know. The fact that he did it 2 weeks before the season is what really. It's not just a personal it's not just a decision. It's the timing of it was so weird. It could have been because of personal reasons. From what I heard, it was that, but also the reason he did it. I think the reason the timing is because he knew he was going to step down back in the spring, but he decided to stretch it out longer to give Sanchez. He wanted Sanchez to have the job, and I hear Carla told him, "You're not getting the job. Sanchez isn't getting the job. We're going to do a national coaching search." So I don't know how true that is, but you know, I don't know. Nobody really knows the true reason he stepped down. Like I said, I think he will coach again, just elsewhere, not in a bigger program. I mean, who knows? He might not. He's still young. I mean, not young, but for a coach, he's still got so much left in the tank, I feel like. So I don't know, but you know, we love Bennett. I'm always going to be a Bennett supporter no matter what. He got us that national championship in 2019, man. Got us a couple ACC championships. Unbelievable guy. That's the same with Sanchez, I've been saying, man. He's such a great guy. You could hear it in the press conference, man. And he loved coaching this team. He genuinely did. He's a great guy. He's a great class act. It's just a shame that it just wasn't in the cards for him. It's as simple as that. So we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks. be sure to check out, if you didn't already after this, the Curtis Staples interview my dad and Jay did. Very interesting stuff they talked about, so be sure to check that out. More stuff to come. I'm sure we'll do more of a formal podcast addressing this game, addressing the coach and search and stuff coming up soon, whether it's in the coming weeks or whatever. We'll see. But appreciate all of you for listening, man, and probably gonna sign off here in just a second. I'm just looking to see if anything else has come out, but I mean nothing's gonna happen anytime soon. Just thanks everybody that dialed us up, Jacob, Tyler, Jake, Corey for y'all chiming in on the Instagram box, and I think that's gonna wrap it up. Just stay on the lookout in the next coming days, the next coming weeks. We'll see what happens with this program. Who's gonna head it? Who's gonna be here? It's gonna be very, very interesting. So appreciate all of you, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, and be on the lookout, and see y'all next time.